Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Team Revival Team Call Wednesday, March 7th, 2018. And tonight we are going to be talking a lot about mindset, and I think it's really important, but we'll get into that in a second. First, Jessica, will you do me a favor and share is there any news, anything we need to know? Well, hold on a second, let me unmute you. Okay, what's up?
My computer just alerted me I was muted because it knows when I try to talk. It's like, you're muted. Daily Sunshine is cheap. I think we talked about this last month, but it's $30 off. So if you've got customers that haven't tried it yet, or you want to try it, now is the time because they can get a really good deal on it, and so can you, and that would be awesome, right?
Yeah.
Okay. The summit tickets are going to be on sale all month for $155. My goal is to have mine purchased before the end of the month. And then the March Success Club reward is a webcast with, I'm not going to say it right, John Acuff? I don't know. But that sounds awesome. And very exciting for the people that are going to Summit, like myself. See how I'm trying to make sure that this is going to happen this year? If you get in a Success Club in March and April with a minimum of 20 points combined over the 2 months, so basically SC10 both months, you get to go to a fun party that's going to be state fair themed. So I don't know, turkey, corn dogs, who knows? Fixate elephant ears. That's it. That's basically it.
Elephant ears.
And Super Saturday is coming April 7th. If you're not registered for that in your town, get registered. We have Shanti. And if you're like a super mega bodybuilder, you can register for the Beachbody Classic.
Oh, and yeah. Okay, never mind.
One last thing. If you're not Emerald, get to Emerald. What the heck? You guys, that group. I don't know if you saw Justin's video.
We're going to talk about that for sure, but yes.
Oh, my God. Get to Emerald. That's my news. All right. That's it.
What about shout outs? Anybody have any shout outs? Feel free. If you do, just unmute yourself and
I do.
Jump in. What's up, Jessica? Get on it.
I just want to say congratulations to Justice and Jen for hitting Emerald for the first time, and the other for duplicating Emerald again last month. And Justice got his call with Jeff Hill for this month, and he got his first month of Success Starters. Yeah, that's amazing. So
it's huge. Well done, brother.
Hey. Shout out.
What's up, Jen?
I'm pointing to her right here. Shout out to my gal Jess, and she hit her diamond.
You're stealing mine. What are you doing?
We share her. She's our girl.
You can all talk about me. It's okay. We can take turns. We can go around and we can say how awesome I am.
It's so loud. That's my mind. Hey, you know what? That is a big deal. So honestly, guys, hitting diamond in multiple business centers, which I feel like, to be honest, Jessica didn't get as much recognition for hitting diamond because she didn't hit it in her account first. She hit it in her husband's account first. So it doesn't show up as, hey, look what Jessica did. You know what I mean? She doesn't get the credit that's deserved in that. So she's done it twice now, which is a big dang deal. And she's actually done it more than that, but she's gone back and forth and achieved it twice. But the biggest reason I think that's such a special thing is because regardless, and this is really, guys, we're going to dive pretty deep into this whole thing, but the fact that she continues to do it, even though she loses diamond, and then she's like, hey, that's not going to stop me. It's not going to, it's just going to be like, okay, cool. And I'm moving forward and I'm going to continue to do it. Keeps her head down, keeps straight, doesn't let anything stand in her way, and just moves forward. And that's a really big deal. That's the determining factor on whether or not you're going to be successful in this or not. Literally, that's it. It's just the determination and the mindset that says, I'm going to continue regardless of what happens. It's not going to stop me. It's just going to be something. A hurdle is not a hurdle. It's purely something for me to grow through. That's literally it. And that's a pretty massive thing to get to that place. So above and beyond hitting diamond, I think that's the larger kind of shout out in there is that mindset and working on that. Cause that takes years to achieve. That's where that comes from. That doesn't just happen overnight. So well played. Okay, so speaking of that diamond group real quick, just because I think there's a lot of people on here actually that are in that group, and people that are going to watch later that are in that group. Deanna, would you do me a favor and kind of give, what are the expectations for this group? It starts tomorrow, guys. It's going to be amazing. Do you want to share the expectations and maybe the incentives on it?
I do. Yes, I do.
Well, then you do that. You go.
Okay. So you want me to share the expectations of the group or what the group entails, you mean? Or
Yes. Expectations, incentives, and what it's all about.
Okay. So the group is called the Diamond Code, and it is going to be run by us as well as I think 8 other coaches that we are in a mastermind group with corporate. So we meet every single week, and we decided to come together to really help support all of us as a whole collective team, because we are Team Beachbody, right? So it doesn't matter if you're on Team Revival or Team Awesome Sauce. It doesn't matter. We're all here to support each other, right? So it's going to be very, very action-based. Not a lot of fluff, not a lot of training, because the last thing we need is more training. What we need to do is more action. So, because I know for me, I can get really involved, like, ooh, let me learn all this fancy stuff. But we know at the end of the day, whether you're a brand new coach or you're a top 10 coach, the actions stay the same. The only difference between a new coach and a top 10 coach is that a top 10 coach does a lot more of those same actions that a new coach does. So we're going to be very focused, very intentional. There will be a couple quick trainings each week, probably like maybe 2 days worth of training. Each week is going to have a little bit of a different topic. I'll let you guys have a little inside scoop on it. I've got it right here because we got a big old chart. So week 1, every single day we're going to be putting together a poll. So it's going to say, it's going to be kind of like a daily checklist. So, did you drink your Shakeology? Did you work out? Did you invite 5 people? Did you grow your network? Did you start so many conversations? Things like that. So all you're going to have to do is click. So it's like a daily just check-in, like, okay, did it, done, right? Week 1, we're going to focus on the 4 vitals, because those are vital, that they're the to-dos. They're not the fluff. They're not the fancy stuff. They're not the super sexy stuff. They're the things that need to get done. As well as what is diamond. And I really like one of the coaches says, not your diamond downline, but your family tree. I love how she shares that, and it really changes that way, because I consider you guys all family members and people that I want to do life with, right? And so I love how she shares it as a family tree. We're going to be, over the next 5 weeks, we're going to have a couple opportunities each week that you could jump into a power hour. There's going to be different people leading power hours. They might talk about power pockets. It might be actually like a power half hour. So there's going to be one in the morning and one in the evening, various days. So stay tuned to listen to that, because we're all going to take away, we all do our things different. And so it's going to be really cool to learn from other people. I'm really excited about that. Week 2 is going to be focusing all on conversations and invitations, because it really, that's where it all begins and everything like that. We're going to be going over objections, a live role playing people will be doing. Week 3, social media, Instagram, social media do's and don'ts. But like I said, this is all going to be very action oriented, not a lot of training, because we don't need all that. Week 4 is going to be tracking an organization, because I know that organization is key. And if, especially like when you're a brand new coach and you're just beginning, if you have that organization system in place, assume that you've got an organization where you've got 50 billion coaches. If you implement that organization system now, it's going to be, it's going to be easier once you get there, right? And it's easier to follow up with people, not let people get lost in the shuffle. And then in the meantime, we're going to be running a couple coach sneak peeks. So we're going to be doing it all as a big group, which is great that we'll be able to add people to. So we're going to be doing 2 of those during the 5-week period. So we'll give you more information on that. It's going to be really awesome. We're going to be doing weekly prizes. Each week is going to be different. You're going to get a different challenge. Some of the challenges might be a week long. Some of them might be just a few days. We're going to be doing a go for no challenge for some of you guys that have done that before. It just means going for no. It's not people that don't respond to you when you invite them. It's people that say, no, thank you. Awesome. Cool. Yeah, I got one. And whoever gets the most no's during that period will win a pretty sweet prize.
I'm
Diamond
going
Gift.
for that. Just FYI, do we get to be a part of it? Can we?
No.
Because I would invite.
We do get to be part of it. We get to buy it. We got to buy the gift.
I know that's not. I'll buy myself that gift. I'll tell you right now.
So Diamond Gifts. Everybody that reaches Diamond at the end of the 5 weeks, which I guess would be April 11th, which is going to be every single one of you that are committed to this group. Everybody that achieves Diamond will receive $100 cash from us. You hold it for 6 weeks, meaning you don't drop Diamond and then you get back. You have to keep it for 6 weeks. You will earn an Apple TV. And Apple TVs are pretty sweet. I'm just saying.
We use it every morning.
Yeah, party on, man. And I think that's it. I'm just really excited. We're going to have corporate at one point come on and do a call for us on whatever we kind of need. Like we'll kind of gauge the group and people are like, I'm struggling with this, or what about this, or I'm not sure about this. We're going to have corporate come on and be able to like drop some knowledge with Brittany. Some of you guys have met her before. She's amazing. And yeah, I'm really super stoked about it. But guys, it's all going to be action. Be coachable, be open, be engaged in the group. Don't be silent because you're like, gosh, I'm worried about this. We all have the same fears and struggles. And so by sharing them, it allows you to grow, it allows you to learn, and just make it really fun. And I have no doubt that each and every one of you guys are going to reach that diamond goal by the end of 5 weeks. We can absolutely do it. It's going to take some hustle, right? It's going to take intention because this being our business, it's very easy. It's also very easy to give ourselves excuses as to why we can't get it done. Yep. Just saying, I do that all the time.
Awesome. Yeah, we all do that all the time. And speaking to basically that, guys. Okay, so first of all, I want to say that in the team page and in the Revival page, I love the interaction that I've been seeing in it over the past couple of weeks. A lot more people are posting in it. A lot more people are just sharing just stuff in general. I love that, and I want to see as much of that as possible. So really what I'm saying there is, please, guys, feel like that's your home. Do not hesitate to post whatever you want to post in there. This is about the community. So we all want to come together and share with each other. It's kind of like a challenge group, but it's not really a challenge group, right? Challenge group for coaches, if you will. So I love seeing that. I've been thinking about like ways to kind of create more team culture from what the feedback to the last team call that I posted was, and trying to come up with the mission statement. We're going to have to figure out a mission statement. I wrote down a bunch of like the things that basically the what people said, what their personal missions were. I wrote them all down and tried to come up with like just one mission statement that kind of incorporated all of them to make it feel like it was the team mission statement. It's easier said than done. So I came up with one idea, but I think collectively we're going to have to come together. So we're going to have to figure out how to do that effectively, to come together and go, here's a couple ideas, what do people think? So that's just in the works. I do like Dusty's idea that she had about creating some sort of ring a bell. And so ring a bell in the challenge group. If you post something that you want some love on, if you post something that is raw and tough or scary or whatever, and you want some love from the team, right? I think we should like let the team know, hey, I just posted this and let me know what you think or whatever. And then we all go, and that's our cue to go in and really like love on the people and show them that we support them. And that's what our goal is here, right? I would say try to interact on people's pages as much as possible anyway for those posts, but we're not all going to be able to watch. And you shouldn't spend your whole day watching other coaches and what they post, right? So I don't want you guys doing that. This is why I want, if you feel like you're really making a solid post here and you want to see some love, don't hesitate. Like, be good about that. Be cool. All right. And post that. Don't share it in the team page. Just post, hey guys, check out my post I just made about da-da-da-da. I'd love some support on that. Right. And then we as a team, that's when we come together and go, absolutely, when you go and just rock it out. Does that make sense to everybody? Thumbs up? Okay. Do you guys agree with that? I mean, you guys think it's a good idea? Like, thumbs up if you think it's a good idea. Do you like that idea? Okay, awesome. All right, so now let's move on to the more important thing tonight. So raise your hand real quick. Tell me, have you ever been one of these things, scared to do something as a coach? Right now, let's not even say ever. Right now, or is there anything that you're either fearful of? Are you feeling any sort of fear, any sort of self-doubt or question, right, about your ability to be successful in this? Are you feeling any sort of frustration or irritation or, anything? Any of those feelings or any of those coming up right now? Tell me, like, Hands up if they are. Everybody else that's not raising their hand is totally gold. And it's okay. I'm not saying there's anything wrong with it. If you're not feeling like frustrated or scared or fearful or anything like that, cool. More power to you. I think most, and we saw even on this call, most people are going to feel that right at some point. And the point of tonight's call is to walk through not just the fact that that's going to happen, but also the fact that it needs to happen. It's totally normal for it to happen. It's got to be there. Right. So I want to set up some kind of expectations for us all to understand, not based on what I think, right, and just what I've seen from all the really successful coaches that we've been fortunate enough to be able to interact with, right, and listening to their stories and having them share with us what they've gone through, not just from that, but from legitimate, like, hey, there's been studies that show X, Y, and Z. Like, this is why this happened. This is science. Like, this just happens, and it's a very normal thing. Or, hey, people have done a lot of research and created like this platform, I guess, if you will, that they that makes sense, right? That these things kind of fall into. So, for instance, the fact of the matter is, well, first we'll talk about their stages, right? And I all of this stuff I've alluded to and mentioned a little bit in team calls before or online before in some way, shape, or form. But it's really just to make it sure that everybody fully gets it and expects it, anticipates it, and recognizes that it doesn't stop just because you've been coaching for 6 months, okay? Or whatever. You got comfortable with one thing, you need to expect these next things, right? The fact of the matter is, things with coaching are going to be uncomfortable. They have to be uncomfortable. If they are not uncomfortable, you know what, right now, Deanna and I, the biggest problem with our year last year, the biggest reason that we did not see the results that we wanted to see last year has nothing to do with our ability. It has nothing to do with with the following. It has nothing to do with the system not working. It has nothing to do with any of that. It has to do with the fact that we got comfortable with what we were doing. We got comfortable with inviting people. We got comfortable on Facebook. We got comfortable with all this shit. We didn't step outside of our comfort zone because we didn't feel like we needed to, right? We didn't we might get uncomfortable with a post here and there, but nothing was really pushing us that much because we kind of got it, right? We're feeling like, okay, I'm feeling pretty comfortable with inviting. I'm feeling comfortable with following up. I know how the system works. I know how to post. We kind of get it. We do the different trainings. We can talk about coaching. It's really not that big a deal. And that, I believe, honestly, is the largest part of why we didn't see the same kind of growth, which is why for us right now, we're both at a place where we're like, you know what? We're switching our Facebook, what we do, the business on Facebook, and we're going to start diving into Instagram. Totally terrifying place for us. I don't know anything about Instagram. It's like, I don't know where to start with it. It's a completely different platform. But what I do know is this. I do know that coaches that are willing to get uncomfortable, that are willing to roll with the changes, that are willing to mold and be fluid with things, right? And not stay stagnant in where they're at, people that are willing to learn and test and fail, those are the ones that are successful. So I'll be failing for the next 6 months at Instagram like it's my job, because it is, right? When I say failing, I don't mean it's going to be pretty. I fail all the time on stories right now. Oh my God, it's so bad. I'll watch my own stories and I'm bored by my story. I'm like, this is stupid. What are you doing? Doing it all wrong, right? It is what it is, but I'll learn because I'm willing to say, okay, it's going to be wrong, but that's going to be okay. The fact of the matter is, in this particular business, we really truly have to look at everything. Every time you have somebody say no, right? If you come to me and you say, look, I just got somebody, they said no and it really hurt. It makes me really anxious or whatever. I really don't feel good about it. It's defeating to hear people say no. My response in my mind, what I tell you might be a little bit different, but I should probably change that. My response in my mind is good. I'm glad they said no. I'm glad that person that you were talking to decided not to follow through. I'm glad that you posted something and somebody left some snarky comment. I'm glad that you had a coach that quit, even though you put all your time and effort into them and you thought, oh my gosh, this is going to be the person and we're going to do this together. And they're like, nah. I'm glad that you started a conversation with somebody, got all excited about them, got them all put into a challenge group, and then just went radio silence. But I'm glad all that stuff happens because the way I see it is all of those things are opportunities for us to have something better, right? When somebody says something snarky or whatever, which is super rare, but whenever it happens or whatever, it's the perfect opportunity for you to learn how to handle that situation, for you to practice How do I deal with this? How do I turn this around? Like, how do I, hey, A, I know that they're not my tribe. B, I know that I can now talk about this. C, I know I can deal with it. It's going to be okay. Like, I'll manage through it, right? You have somebody that gets excited and they want to sign up and you're like, oh, and you do all this work and you do all this connection and it's just like so amazing. And then they just go radio silent. Good. That's fantastic. It means that you now know to be able to look back at that conversation and say, where can I change this? Hey, you know what I probably shouldn't do? Put all my heart and soul into worrying about whether or not this person's going to do something, and instead put all my heart and soul into trying to offer them the opportunity, right, to change, but allowing myself to understand that they're going to change. They're going to make that decision, right? And they're going to do what they need to do. What's up?
Sorry. I'm behind on 2 of my meals and I need to make my shake.
Oh, I was like, what is going on? You know, so all of those things, all of those hurdles, all of those frustrations, they're all part of the process, right? We don't go to in the workouts, guys, where do you think you get your results from? Do you think you get your results because of just the easy stuff that you do? If you went to your workout right now and you did your workout and it was super simple, it was like, okay, just give me 3 jumping jacks and you're done. You think that's no, you get your results because of the amount that you fail, right? Pushing your muscles to failure. There's a reason, failure. So you can't do it anymore. You get the results from the times that you're sore the next day. You get the results from all the points that hurt. All the things about the waking up in the morning and not wanting to go to work out but doing it anyway. That's where you get the emotional, the mental health, right? That's where you get that growth. That's where you get the confidence. That's where you get, the results in that mindset, right? And then when all the stuff that you do in physical, all the hard stuff, like the moves that you hate, we always say the muscles that you need to work are the ones you hate to work, right? Those are the exercises you need to do, right? It's not because it's easy. It's because it's the hard stuff. That's why it gets results. And coaching is no different. Anything in life is no different. As long as we are in a place where we are struggling and willing to sit in the struggle, willing to push through, willing to recognize that it's part of the process and it's going to be okay, willing to recognize that we can get through it, and through getting through it, we're going to find the confidence that we need to get through the next thing, right? Is the more that we're willing to do that, the more that we're willing to be successful. But until we get to that place where we are willing to set in that fear and set in that uncomfortableness, until we get to that place, we're never willing to be successful. And that's the problem. We're telling ourselves, I'm not willing to be successful because I'm not willing to get myself uncomfortable. It's not that you can't be, it's that you're unwilling to be. It's the same thing I do to myself. It's the same thing we did last year. We were unwilling to reach our goals because we were unwilling to get uncomfortable because we didn't know that we needed to, right? We just didn't, right? So there's 4 stages. There's a book called, I gotta remember what it's called. Situational Leadership. Talked about a little bit about it the other day. I haven't read it yet. I want to read it, but here's basically what it breaks down to. And this is absolutely, if you're new to coaching or if you're in the beginning of your coaching career, this is going to be a very true thing. Recognize this and just understand that it's part of the process and it's going to be good. And I think actually understanding this and seeing these phases, it makes us a little bit easier to go, oh, okay, I'm in this phase. That's a normal thing. I totally get it. So phase 1 is basically an excitement phase, right? It's where you're super excited about what we get to do. It's exciting, right? And it is. It should always be exciting, but it is exciting, okay? The fact of the matter is, though, the skill is really low. Your skill set is, you don't know what to do, right? It's all new. It can be overwhelming. You're jacked up about it, but I don't even know where to start, right? And that's fine. Basically, what's going to happen at that point is your coach is going to give you the insight and the direction necessary for you to learn those skills, those necessary skills that are going to help you grow, right? That's their job, and your job is just to listen and be coachable. That's the point, right? That's that thing. Now, here's the problem. You're quickly going to move into phase 2. And this is where everybody quits. This is where it becomes defeating. This is where mindset is one of the keys, right? This is where personal development is super important and why we preach about it so much. The problem with phase 2 is your excitement drops. In fact, it's usually at an all-time low because something happens that hurts, right? Something happens that defeats you. The way I heard it explained, actually, the analogy I heard was like, oh, that was really interesting. It's like, imagine you're learning how to snowboard. You're stoked about snowboarding, right? Like, this is going to be rad. I'm going to throw this forward on. I'm going to head up to the top of the mountain, and we're just going to, like, crush it. It's going to be awesome. It's going to be so much fun. And you get on the board, and you start to move down. You're like, oh, this is great, right? And you start moving and moving, and it's fun, and you feel like you're getting it, and then all of a sudden just flap, square to the face, right? Now, and you go, oh, shit, that hurt. Like, it hurt. Like, there's snow in my face. There's up my nose. Like, I can't breathe. All my shit went everywhere. Like, it's painful. If you've ever fallen on a snow, it can be painful, right? and you fall, and then all of a sudden now the fear steps in. Your excitement's gone because you realize this can hurt. It can be painful. Your skill set's still low. So now I don't even have the skill to move forward, I don't feel like. Now I'm feeling defeated, and I'm feeling insecure, and I'm feeling like I don't want to take the risk because I don't know how to do this right clearly, and it's going to hurt if I fail. What if I post something and somebody says something, right? I don't know how to deal with that. How do I navigate that? What's going to happen, right? What if I invite somebody and they say no? Somebody just told me no. Somebody just told me to shut up. Why? Like, I don't want to hear that again. Well, I don't know how to manage it, right? This is where the fear sits in. And this is when people go, oh. And this is why personal development, this is why digging into more direction, right? By digging into the team, digging into your coach, digging into the support group that you have around you, this is where that becomes the most important thing in your life. Because this is how you recognize, okay, this is going to hurt, but I'm going to get up. Now I've got an instructor that's going to come down and is going to help me navigate how do I get down without falling more. And when I do fall, how do I fall right? How do I get back up? How do I get through the pain of what this causes or whatever? And as you get through that, you realize, okay, I fell again and it wasn't so bad. Oh, this happened again. Okay, I made it through last time, I can make it. And you start building that confidence, right? And that confidence grows and grows. And eventually you fall from there. If you can continue on and if you keep your head down, you move into phase 3. And phase 3 is an up and down game, right? Your motivation is high because you're having successes, but then you're also still having problems, right? Like there's still things. This is a normal thing in phase 3. It's basically where Deanna and I are right now. We're in phase 3, full on, where it's like you've got great months and a great time where you're just like jacked up and your excitement's high and your skill level's good and you're so excited about what you're going to do. And then all of a sudden something just slaps you in the face and bam, and it's right back down. And you start to question yourself. You start to question your ability. Am I leading our team right? Am I saying the right things? Am I helping people the right way? Am I putting myself out there in line the right way? Am I doing all this stuff the right way? Right? You start feeling, and then all of a sudden, okay, yes, you get a little bit more traction, you get a little bit more momentum, you start moving back up and you go, okay, I am doing it the right way. This is exciting. And you do this a lot, right? And this is, again, when you really dive into the support of the team, the support of your friends, the support of this culture, right? And personal development, because again, it's just a mind game. It's not that we don't know the functions on how to do this. It's not that we don't know the step-by-steps. It's that we just are thinking, we're getting in our way, right? We're just starting to think about ourselves and start to question ourselves, and we're starting to let our mind and control our actions instead of us controlling our mind, right? So that's like where Deanna and I are, right? And that's a very normal thing too. And then eventually you move into 4, which we're going to be there soon because it just is what it is. Like I'm gonna will it until it happens, right? But phase 4 is where you just kind of fall into autopilot. You realize there's up and downs. It's going to be fine. Your skill set's high. You get it. You know how to work this, how to work this business. You know what you need to do. You know how to handle the situations and navigate the situations when they come around, not just with the business, but with just the life stuff, right? You realize, okay, life is about to get busy. I'm going to build a house here. We're going to do this, or we're going to do this. But I know if I just need to do this, right? You just kind of fall into autopilot and things just work, right? The fact of the matter is, it's not that those things won't happen. It's not just that you're going to skip phases or anything like that. It's to expect that all of that is going to happen, just to recognize where are you? And then when you're in 2, okay, I'm here. What do I need to get out of here? I need personal development and support. Why am I not doing personal development right now? Why am I not listening to stuff? Why am I not filling my mind? Because that's what's going to get me to phase 3. Guess what else? Personal development is going to get me to phase 4, right? Like it's always going to be wherever your mindset is. Who's familiar with Mel Robbins? Raise your hand if you're familiar with Mel Robbins. Okay, she's awesome. Who's read the 5-second rule? Anybody? It's sick, right? Okay, so you guys you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about right now. This is I want to explain this because I want you guys to know that fear is going to set in at some point in some way, shape, or form. It's either fear or self-doubt. It does for everybody. Right, I get fearful about things. Deanna gets fearful. Deanna just shared today with the mastermind call that she's fearful about talking about the coaching opportunity. Right, it's scary for her to invite just to coaching for it 4 years later, and look what it's done for us. And she's scared to do it. It's a normal thing. She's not wrong for it, right? Like it's just a normal thing. Expect that you're going to run into fear, and it's okay. But here's the problem: what's going to happen if you don't recognize it? What's going to happen is you're going to wait for the right time to do it. You're going to wait for the right time to push through that fear. And here's the thing. There's never going to be a right time. And I know you've heard it before, but let me explain. There's never going to be a right time. Motivation's bullshit. It's not around, right? It's just not here. It's not true. Here's what's actually going to happen. If we look at our brains, right, and we think about the way that they're wired and what their purpose is. Their person, and I'm basically explaining what Mel Robbins talks about in the 5-second part of what she talks about in the 5-second rule. So check out that book and it'll explain a little bit deeper. But just to kind of give you an overview of it, what she says is, and this makes perfect sense, when you are scared to do something or you're fearful about doing something, okay, your brain is wired to protect you from, and always been, right? Back in the day, it was on purpose. It was there to protect you from anything that can hurt you. Right? That is its job. That is its purpose. That's why it's here. Everything about it is to keep you comfortable. It's not to get you uncomfortable, right? Homeostasis in our body is literally our body keeping everything comfortable, basically. It's keeping everything in I don't know how to explain it, stabilized, if you will, so that we can survive, right? If there wasn't homeostasis, we would die, right? Our bodies are literally built to keep us comfortable and not uncomfortable, because the things that are uncomfortable and scary and fearful could be things that could injure or kill us. So it doesn't want us to die, right? So it naturally is going to do things to keep us from being uncomfortable. Something like, what did she call it? She says there's a, right here, sorry. Okay. So there is a, basically, here's what's going to happen. You're going to start to do something, right? And all of a sudden, basically, you're going to hesitate to do it because it's a fearful thing, right? You're going to say, hey, I'm going to invite this person to the coach opportunity, right? But you're going to want to do it, but you're going to hesitate for 1 second. Even if it's just a microsecond, you're going to hesitate because it's something you're scared of, or something you're uncomfortable with. Well, here's what's going to happen. The minute you do that, your brain is going to send your brain's going to send a signal, right, that says, hold. She didn't hesitate to get out of the shower today. Shouldn't hesitate to put on her socks. Shouldn't hesitate to do this. Why is she hesitating to do this thing right now? It must be dangerous. And then what it'll actually do is a phenomenon that's actually called the, let me see, it's a phenomenon called the spotlight effect, where it actually spotlights the fear and amplifies those fears to keep you from moving forward. So it's actually thing that it's a known effect, that she says. It's a known effect. It literally is something that your brain is doing to you. Your brain is literally saying, I don't want you to do that because there's a reason that you're not supposed to do it, right? Back in the day, that probably had something to do with like, hey, you're hunting. I don't think I want to go around that corner, right? Well, yeah, don't, because there's a lion there, right? Or something crazy like that. Nowadays, that's not true. We don't have those same concerns. So from now, we have to learn, okay, well, how do I navigate that? This is why she says the 5-second rule, right? It's kind of like that. Has anybody read Eat That Frog? Okay. Eat That Frog's another great one, right? It talks all about do the things that you don't want to do the things that are scary, do the things that are frustrating, do the things that you know are necessary, but you don't want to do them first. Just get it done. Just do it. Stop thinking about it. Recognize that you can change your life in one decision. You can change your financial life. You can change your emotional life. You can change your physical life. You can change your relationships with your family, with your kids, with your spouse, whatever it is. You can change it in one decision. And it doesn't look like a decision where you're saying, hey, I'm just going to divorce you, or hey, I'm just going to, do this or whatever. It looks like the decision of, hey, you know what? You and me we're married and we're having a fight. And I know that if I do this, when you're this in this, if I react this way to what you're telling me right now, it's going to amplify this fight. It's recognizing where you're at in that place, right? That decision to go, I'm going to handle this a different way, because why would I destroy a relationship when I can try to figure out another way to build a relationship, right? It's that one little decision in the middle of, in that microsecond that changes everything. It's the same thing with inviting. It's the same thing with any other thing that we have to do that we're scared to do. Deanna, do you want to just say it rather than chat it? That way I don't have to, hold on a second.
No, I thought it would be nice if people, were honest and share what they're fearful of, because I think that we all feel like we're alone in our fears, like you said, me inviting to the coach opportunity, like I'll invite anybody all day to a challenge group because I love them and they're amazing. And that's, that's where my jam is. But inviting to the coaching opportunity scares the bejesus out of me, because my stepfather was that slimy salesperson, right? He was the guy that he would come up to strangers at stores and go, hey, I got a business proposition for you. You're going to make $1 million in 2 weeks. You can do this? see this thing right here? It cures cancer. You know, he was like that icky guy. So I was like so anti everything. And it took, like Justin said, it took us over a year to decide to start coaching because we had this preconceived idea of what we did as coaches. And so I always have that kind of inner fear that, are people going to think that I'm that, this cures cancer, you can make $1 million in 2 weeks, even though that's not where my heart is. And so that's why when Cassandra shared what she's fearful of, we have to realize where our heart is and where our intention is. And odds are, like, people aren't really thinking that deeply into an invitation or into a post they're not thinking that into it. We're thinking so much into more. And so I think that we all at the end of the day have kind of very similar fears in different capacities, but doing it anyway starts dwindling that fear just a little bit every time. Like, I can remember being super scared to add to my network. Like, sending a friend request, I used to get so scared. Now I'm just like, send them all day long, you know, because I did it. Being on video, like, it took me a good year before I would talk on these calls. And now I'm just like, blah, 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 you know, but being fearful, but doing it anyways is going to start eliminating that fear. And so I think it's really important that we all kind of are honest with our fears, because there's nothing wrong with them.
Yeah, totally. So guys, I wonder if you don't mind, I'm going to read some of these just because what you're going to find, I think, well, let me read them. And then I think you're going to see kind of a little bit of similarities between them. So Cassandra just basically said that, you know, she's afraid that people would think that she only cared, that I only cared that they responded to one of my posts so that I could nail them with Beachbody, right? I only care that you actually responded to the post that I made. It's just so I could send you an invite, all of these are totally, like, when I read through these, all of these are totally valid. Like, I have been there in my mind many times, right? Renee's afraid that she'll get annoying to her friends, and basically for the same reason that Cassandra had, right? Amy's fear is that she won't be able to keep up and learn as fast as she needs to. Jessica says she's just afraid that she'll never be at the level that I want, you know, that she wants, or in turn that she will be, right? Like, that's a scary thought too. And success, guys, success is fearful for people. Like, that's a fear thing for people. A lot of people are really scared, and that they actually hold themselves back from the success because there's something in their brain. And I don't know exactly why. I don't want to pretend like I'm like, you know, like I have some deep knowledge about, you know, about the mind. But from what Tony Robbins was saying when we were at one of his conventions, he was saying that there's a lot of times where people feel like there's something in the back of their head that's always told them that they can't be successful. They don't deserve to be successful. So it's fearful to them to be successful. So they get scared and they're like, I want to be, but I don't feel like I deserve it for some reason. And it's deep. It's
or even so far as success being dirty. Like, that's something that I struggled with. Cause I grew up not having a lot of money, and I kind of prided myself on kind of being a hard working class kind of woman, you know? And so I thought that somehow, and this sounds really bad, but somehow I thought I was a better person morally, ethically than somebody that had a lot of money, because clearly I had to work harder, and it made me more humble, which it was just silly. So it was a weird thing about my association with money, and that money would be evil or money is bad, that I really had to work through, and still, honestly, I'm still working through.
Yeah. So, and then Jen says she's scared to talk about the coach opportunity as well, right? Patrick says that she's, I'm fearful not having the answers to the questions they might have right away, right? That, and FYI, we'll actually chat about that because we're going to talk after this call. We'll talk about that. The best thing is you don't need to know the answers, and I'll explain that more. But and then Justice says that he's the same spot as Jessica is, you know, that he'll never get to where he wants to be a part of that result of my fear of messaging people, right? So scared to reach out, right? And the only intention of messaging them was to try to talk about Beachbody. Okay, so does anybody? Okay, so I see two reasons that all of those fears fall into. Two reasons. There's two categories. There's the category, and some of you guys disagree or agree. There's the category of self-belief, right? I'm getting in my own way. I'm getting in my head. I don't have the belief in myself or my ability to create this, right? And then the other one comes from a place of intent. It comes completely from a place of, if you think about it, right? I'm fearful my friends are going to get annoyed. I'm fearful that people are going to think that I'm this way. I'm fearful that people are going to think I'm just talking about Beachbody. Step back, ask yourself, are you? Is that your point? Like, honestly, are you trying to just annoy somebody, just get them? No, right? Like, I would not assume that anybody in this team is like that. Nobody has the mindset of just, I want to just get the next sale. That's not how we were brought in, because it's not what resonates morally with Deanna or I or anybody else on this team, I don't think, right? That's not your intent. It's not true. The truth doesn't live there, right? The truth for what you guys are doing is you're sharing. And as long as you share with that heart, it comes through, and you're not going to annoy people, right? As long as you share honestly from who you are. That's why we say, just be authentic. If you're not trying to talk somebody into it, right, or pressure somebody, they're not going to feel pressure. If you're not trying to just hound somebody, they're not going to be annoyed, because that's not your intent, and that's not how you approach it, right? I would ask you, did any of you that have those fears feel that way? Cassandra, go ahead. Let me unmute you.
So wait, how do you want me to answer that? Like,
did you feel that Deanna pressured you or was annoying to you?
No. Sorry, I misunderstood. No, I never felt that. I was opposite probably. I felt like I was being annoying because I kept saying no. I think she kept count. I think it was like 8 times. And she told me that when we went on our first date. But no, I didn't feel like she was annoying at all. I never had. I always was interested in what you guys were doing. It was like a positive light for me. So no, I didn't feel like that at all.
And just recognize, guys, that's not because we're doing something special. That's the same thing that you guys do. It's just the way that we see, not Deanna and I, but us, everybody, we all individually see what we're doing. It's what we choose to look. Basically what we're doing is when you do that to yourself and say, oh, I don't want to annoy people, you're putting that on them. It's not really fair, right? Because think about the people that you're changing their lives. Think about the people that are messaging you saying, thank you for being such an inspiration, right? Are you not going to share because you're worried because you're going to tell somebody else that you haven't even talked to that they're going to be annoyed by what you're doing, even though they had no say in it, right? They didn't tell you that they were annoyed. You just assumed you were going to annoy them, so you're just not going to share with them. And you don't know, you could have saved their life. Quite literally. You could be the only person in their entire life that is in their corner because you had the guts to share with them. But instead, you said, looked and said, I don't know, I don't want to annoy them, right? The fact of the matter is, you're not going to annoy them if you don't. This is going to sound bad. If you don't be annoying, and the only way we be annoying is doing all the stuff that we don't want to do. So we're not going to do it. No, you know what? Does that make sense? Do you guys get it? No, I'm like, does it make sense? Really? And then the only other one is just the self-belief. I will say this. I think every single one of us, and this is why we say it's so important. And when I say important, I don't mean like it's important. I mean, it's vital. Literally, I believe honestly that it is vital that you put yourself around other successful coaches, not just other coaches, other successful coaches. You get find a accountability partner, right? And B, go to Summit, go to Super Saturdays, right? Put yourself around the community, around people that are persevering through the concerns and through the hardships and through the fears, right? Because those people are going to naturally feed to you the energy that you're going to need to see, wait a minute, hold on a second, they're successful. And what's going to happen is the more you're around them, the more you're going to recognize your own ability to be successful, because you're going to realize, wait a minute, they're not doing anything special. Like, they're not like some special person that is only able to do this because they're able to do it. I could totally do this too. And the second you have that realization, and I guarantee every single person in here will have it at some point, and you'll probably be able to remember when it clicks. And when it does click, Deanna and I remember, I will never forget. Literally, I will never forget. I talk about it all the time. The minute that I had that recognition, and that is the minute that we were like, hold on. And Deanna had the same time. She had the same kind of little like moment where she realized, wait a minute, we could do this. Like, we really could do this. And then we had a talk, and that was 6 months after we started. And that was, just at the very end of December, January 1, we started going, and we haven't looked back since, because we realized, like, not only is this possible, but we can do it. We had that moment, right? You guys will have that moment, but the only way you have that moment is when you put yourself around people that have had that moment, right? They can share with you what that's like. So you just immerse yourself in that culture, and you're going to realize, okay, this is totally doable. I can do it. And then all of a sudden, half of the fear goes away. Half of the self-doubt goes away, right? Couple that with personal development, and you're golden.
Cassandra, did you have something else that you wanted to talk about?
That's so funny because I was totally thinking that. How did you read my mind? There was just one more thing I wanted to ask if anybody else has felt this way. So I've done, and I've brought this up to Justin and Deanna probably on 37,000 occasions. I've done so many other side businesses. We don't need to name them, but let's just say it's been three to be exact, that I've posted about and got excited about and blah, 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 blah. So I feel like I have no, what's the word? Like people aren't going to trust what I'm doing because they're like, oh, here she goes again. But I know that this is different because I'm not so much afraid. I'm just more like, how do you push past that thought? Do you just have to like keep putting it away and keep putting it away? And I mean, I don't know what to do. It keeps creeping up. Like all the people that I'm still friends with that got me involved in other businesses are on my Facebook. Like I constantly think like, what do they think about me right now? You know, I don't know. I can't get rid of that thought.
So we were actually in a class that they said that there's like these statistics, and I don't know statistics, but whatever, that typically people don't kind of what we do. People don't stick with the first business they do because they're kind of getting their feet wet. They're finding who they are, and people evolve and change. And you're right. I mean, a couple people might go, oh, okay, well, she's just on to the next thing. That's where you get to no, this is different.
Mm-hmm.
This is different for me. And you just get a show by being consistent. And that's why you'll hear over and over again, consistency, because I'm not going to lie. There's coaches that are in one day and out the next. They don't make the $1 million in 2 weeks. And so they're like, oh, this is actually work. What's awesome is that you came in, fell in love with the process. You fell in love with you. You fell in love with the community. So you're here to stay because I won't let you go anywhere. But you fell in love with everything first. You weren't in it for the business to begin with. You fell in love with everything that this business offers. And that's when you made it. So it's just by you showing up every day consistently, and people are going to be going, wow, there must be really something to this. Like almost 4 years later, finally I'm having people come to me. I mean, not all the time,
right.
Wrong, but they're like, wow, okay, I've been watching what you're doing, or I see, you know, I've seen so many coaches come and go, but wow, you're really consistent, or you're still here. And I think it's just you just have to, not that you have to prove yourself because you don't have anything to prove, but just by you showing up, slowly people are going to be going, wow, there's something to this thing. Like I can see you're changing, I can see you're evolving, I can see you're growing and maturing. And like you said, you noticed a change in us, like not necessarily appearance wise, but in our demeanor and how we carry ourselves. And that's pretty powerful.
What about, another thing, I'm not trying to take over this call. There's like a bunch of other people here. But maybe other people have some input. So I typically get a lot of traffic to my posts. I've been really blessed, like a lot of people. And I want to reach out to them. And then there's times that you reach out to them and it's like, they say they want to know. They say it's inspiring. They want to do everything you're doing. But as soon as you offer it, they're like, meh, just kidding. Like, how do you respond to that? Do you just kind of make sure like you're casual about it? Like that's totally fine. And keep going. Just keep doing the same thing. I don't know.
I would love to get other people's opinions too.
Yeah.
I say my personal thing is like, I just ask questions like, hey, you know, what are you doing? Like, what are your goals? You know, kind of painting that picture and then sharing why you love, like, oh, I want to lose 30 pounds and I want to tone up. Oh my gosh. I know what you mean. Like you relate to them on a real level. Right.
Right.
And then just briefly share, you know, how what you're doing has really helped you. And then it paints that picture of how it's going to help them. And if they get nervous or they're like, no, I don't think I'm ready. Hey, that's totally cool. And love them where they're at. Keep the conversation going. What I love to do, and when I started doing this, it really helped me. That, you know, I always offer them into like a paid accountability group, right? First. And if they're like, no, and I'm like, you know what, that's totally cool. Hey, you know what? I'm going to have a free group coming up pretty soon. I would love to plug you in. So then they don't think that I'm just like, you're not a sale next. I'm like, I want to have something to offer them. Or, hey, you know what? I've got this I made this recipe or meal plan that I used last week and I really liked it. It was super quick. You know, would you like me to send it to you? Like still providing them something.
Sure.
So love them and keep the conversation going because 8 times, girl, 8 times.
Man, what a pain in the ass I was. Well, maybe I still am sometimes, but
you're not the exception. You're the rule, right?
Yeah.
It's not uncommon. Like they say, what is it? Like 7 to 9 touches before somebody commits to something.
Yeah.
So, you just love them. You just like, oh, that's just a relationship built. That's just a seed watered, right? And it's starting to grow. And it might be right away. It might take 6 months, might take 2 years. I see it all. You just go, you know what? I'm in this for the long haul. If you're not ready now, you will be.
Right.
Absolutely.
Okay. You're fine.
Does anybody else have any other questions or any other like struggles they're having? Justice, I'll unmute you. Go ahead, buddy.
Okay. So I've been having this problem with a few people here and there, and it's kind of similar to the like where they like get really interested and you start explaining it and then they totally just like turn off. And it has to do with the fact that once I talk about it's through an online program, they ask what that program is, and when I start to explain it, they go, I've heard of Beachbody before, yeah, not interested. And they just totally just get turned off by the fact.
Go. Diana.
I'm just gonna ask really quick, are you using third-party tools at all? Like, are you using videos?
What do you like? In what sense? Like to like explain?
So when you're explaining something, do you ask about their goals and then you're telling them, oh, hey, this like XYZ program would be great for you?
Mm-hmm.
Instead of doing that, so our back office has quick videos, like 3-minute videos that describe the programs. I never tell anybody about a program ever. I always send them a video. I'm like, you know what? I think I know the perfect program for you. 30-minute workouts, super simple nutrition. If I send you a video, would you have time to check it out? And they're like, sure. So then I send them the video because then they can visually see it.
Right.
They see progress photos. They see, wow, I could probably do that versus me doing all the work and the words. Because when I used to say like, oh my gosh, you get this and 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 it's only this much, then people are like, whoa. So right. I would say try using those third-party tools.
Yeah, I do that every once in a while. And like a few that I have done that, like sometimes they just won't reply. And I've gotten one where they were like, yeah, I've watched the video, like whatever, it sounds great, but I'm still just not like, I've heard of like some other people that have done Beachbody before and it's just not for me.
So it does get to a point where it's like, okay, then it's not for them. You know what I mean? Like, so that's one thing to understand. It's totally fine for it not to be for somebody. If somebody doesn't have, I've heard about Beachbody and I haven't liked it. My initial response would like immediately be like, oh, you've done one of the programs before? Which one did you do? Or which one are you familiar with? Right? Just ask them, right? So you can get an idea, because here's the thing. They might look at it and go, hey, you know what? I want to do yoga, but all I know is P90X.
Right.
And the P90X is not my game. That's not how I roll. But I would love to do, because I like yoga. I'm just that kind of person. Right. Until you say, well, what are you familiar with? They go, oh, well, this, then you can explain, you have the opportunity to explain. We're like, oh, okay. Yeah, I totally get it. You want to do this kind of stuff. And that's a totally different workout. I don't think that would be a good idea for you either. I think that you would probably hate that. I would hate that if I were you, but check this out, because they've got a bunch of different workouts. You might really like this, or, well, why don't, what's going on with it? Did you try one of the workouts, or you can do the feel felt found. You know what? I don't like to work out at home. I don't either. You know what I mean? Like it wasn't my thing either. I like to go to the gym. What I love about this is I actually get to go to the gym with it. I can take it with me on my phone and do it at the gym and have my little personal trainer in my pocket. It used to be I had to do it at home. Maybe people think that it's still DVDs and they don't realize that there's an on-demand side to it now, right? So we just can't assume anything when somebody says anything, like any sort of objection. We can't assume that they know all of the information. I liken it just to the same way of going to a restaurant, right? Hey, we're going to go have sushi, right? Well, I don't eat sushi. Yeah, but what I know about this restaurant is they have the best steak in the entire city. They just also happen to be a sushi restaurant. I'm not going to just go, oh, you don't like sushi? Okay, done. I'm going to go, oh yeah, well, I know. I'm not a huge sushi either. It's actually got the best steak in the entire country. Oh, really? Yeah. Okay, let's roll. They just didn't like sushi, but I didn't know it until I asked, you know what I mean? Or until, and they didn't know it until I could explain to them. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I do have a question. So this is something I've learned over time. I ask tons of questions. I mean, not to like inundate people with questions, but whether or not it's you guys or whatever. So think about when you first got set up, what were your personal objections? Like, did you have any, or were you just like 100% the first time you were invited, you got like, woo, let's do this?
Personally, I guess like I start, but personally, when I was invited to like join a group, I was already like kind of invested or like interested in the program because I was starting it with my aunt.
Okay.
And so I'd already kind of like dipped my toe in the water a little bit. And then Jessica sent me that message and was like, hey, let's do this. And I was like, sweet. All right.
Okay, cool. So you don't have objection as far as that goes, because like Justin said, it's really important to find, I mean, because I fully had objections to a lot of stuff. So, but yeah, just asking those questions like, oh, well, you know, like you said that they said, oh, I had friends that did Beachbody. And so awesome. What, like just said, what program did they do, or how long ago, or what didn't they like about it? I mean, it's okay to, if somebody gives you an objection, to ask questions and take it not like you're trying to convert them, but an opportunity for you to learn. Because I think every time you have an objection, it gives you the opportunity to look through things in a different lens that maybe you didn't before. Like, oh, well, you know, the meal plan was super hard. Oh my gosh, I know. Like P90X3 has the weirdest meal plan ever. Like I couldn't even follow it because it says, instead of measurements, it's like, here's a handful of stuff. What? I got big hands. Like, how big is a handful? Like, I don't know. And so, you know, like, oh my gosh, I know P90X3 had the weirdest meal plan ever. They're super simple now with these pretty little containers, you know, like Justin said, but asking those questions, but doing it from a perspective of I'm learning and I'm growing as a coach each time I ask those questions. It's pretty awesome.
Yeah, that's always just question. Never like, and I find myself doing that all the time. I have to step back and be like, okay, I need to ask a question here, not to assume what they're thinking, right? Because many times, I think Jessica and I have had this conversation a couple times, many times what they're thinking and what I think they're thinking are two totally different things. And they just don't know, you know? And then when you tell them, they go, oh, well, I didn't realize. Well, thank God I didn't just assume that you thought this thing, because otherwise we'd be totally off, you know? Does anybody else have anything they want to share, any concerns or anything like that? Nothing?
If you don't have anything, I would actually like to hear, putting all of you guys on the spot, I would like to hear what all of you guys are doing for personal development. And if you're not, be honest and say you're not. But should I call you guys out, or do you have something else you want to talk about real quick?
No, I'm golden.
Justin, what are you doing? What are you doing for personal development? Justin?
Energy bus.
Yeah.
And I love it.
I was doing the energy bus until we both can't listen to it at the same time. So I'm listening to Braving the Wilderness until he gets done with energy bus, and then I'm doing it. Justice. Oh, honey.
Oh, sorry. So for personal development, right now at the moment, I'm not doing anything in particular. I just got finished reading You Are a Badass, which was actually like the most, like, oh my God, I loved it. So Jessica sent me a few other books to look into, so I'm going to start looking at some other things and get into that personal development.
Awesome. A tip that I have is, if you really loved You're a Badass, which I love, don't be afraid to read it again. And then don't feel like you have to go on to another book, because I guarantee you're going to read You're a Badass and you're going to take something new away that you didn't take away before. Like 9 times I've listened to that book, because it's just, yeah. So no, that's awesome. Mm-hmm. Get on it every day. 10 minutes, mister. That's an order.
All right.
Cassandra.
So I started the energy bus also. I got it on the audio, but I didn't know if I was supposed to be following along with everybody else. So I don't know kind of where we're at on that, or if I'm just allowed to just like go for it. I'm a rule follower, so you guys got to make things clear to me.
You just go for it.
Okay. So is Justice. He said he is too. So, but I also have Deanna's copy of I Am a Badass. It's about me. It's actually written about me. I haven't finished that. I also have The Subtle Art of Not Giving Up book. Yep, I said it. Haven't started that either. So I have a lot on deck as far as that. But a lot of my personal development, guys, comes straight. I'm sorry, but it comes straight out of the Bible. Like, I sit down and I journal and I get some things and I get some words and I run with it. So
it's great. Nothing wrong with that.
Jennifer.
I'm rereading I Am a Badass.
I think we should just rename it that. I like that. I like that better. I am a badass. You keep telling yourself, yeah. Awesome.
Yeah.
You create your reality.
Push it again.
We fear a suck-it sandwich.
Yeah, that's my badass button. I love it. Amy.
And anything lately.
Nothing lately. All right, we got to pick you a
Nothing
book.
lately. Huh?
Or an audio. We got to pick you an audio. I think you, with your busy schedule, an audio I think would be really good for you to plug in your ears. Be perfect for when you're working out and stuff like that.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. We'll talk about that offline and find one for you.
Okay.
But Energy Bus is really good, and it's one that some of the team is checking out. It's really super simple read, and it's told like a story, which is really nice. It's really, really good. I really, really like it. I'd recommend that actually. Patry.
Sure, you commented.
Oh, I didn't even pay attention.
I'm not reading anything right now. I was going to order the Energy Bus, but I also looked at my Audible, and I have the Thank You Economy by Gary Vaynerchuk. I have 2 hours left of that. So
Gary Vee's great. Yeah, he's super solid.
And then my husband also bought me Punch Punch Jab. So I have that on queue too. So.
Oh, nice.
Nice. Jab, 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 right hook? Or jab,
yeah,
jab?
that one.
That one's great for learning how to like share on social media. It's awesome. Like, you know, well, and just in life in general.
And if it's on audio now?
He got me the Kindle books, and I can't convert it.
Because I'm always wondering if it's updated, because I've got Gary Vee's books, but I do audio, and he goes off topic on audio a lot, which is really great. And a lot of things get outdated, especially with social media. You know that it goes outdated really quick, and so he'll share like new stuff, which is really
cool. The Thank You Economy, he has some off-topic stuff that he goes on, so it's kind of cool that way. He kind of updated and said how it's evolved.
Nice.
Since he wrote it, so.
Awesome. Cool. Renee.
I am reading a book called The Dream Giver by Bruce Wilkinson. And then I'm also reading The Power of a Praying Woman, which is lots of Bible too, and just really how to pray for yourself and find out who you are. And yeah, both of them are really good. And then I think I already have the 5-second rule that I kind of started a whole bunch of months ago. So after those, I'm going to get on that one.
Perfect. What's The Dream Giver about?
The Dream Giver is it's actually really cool. It's half like an analogy or like allegory. I forget the name, but anyways, where it's like person called Normal is from his place is called he's from a place called like Comfortable or something like that. And so he goes to sleep one night and wakes up, and the dream giver gives him a dream. And now he wakes up and he's trying to tell all the normals about this dream. And so it's a whole story, like I think it's an allegory. I think that's the right word. But and how he starts walking out, leaving his comfortable place and walking and facing the fears and facing the giants. And so it's this whole story. And now I'm in the second part of the book where he then walks you through explaining the story and stuff. So it's about when you get a dream and then actually stepping out and all the processes that are going to happen as you do. So that's what it is. Awesome. I don't know if that makes sense.
Mm-hmm. That sounds cool. And then I don't even know if Jessica's here. I think I might see the top of her hair. I don't know if that's her.
I don't think she can hear you.
What is that? There she is. Jessica. Benny. Yeah. Benny. She's all looking.
She's probably like doing something she can't come over and she can't move herself.
I just want to make her feel uncomfortable. Yeah. Jessica, we're watching you. We see you. She's like, shush.
Okay. I can't unmute her. I can't do anything. Alrighty. Well, hey, Jessica, we'll find out what you're reading later.
Oh, here she comes.
I'm sorry. I've got family calling for the darn birthday. So I left you guys.
No worries.
Do you have a question?
What are you doing for personal development?
Hold on 1 second. You guys, let me call you back. Natalie, let me call you back. Okay. I gotta go. Okay. Bye. It was Natalie. I tried to say like 10 times I'm on the call. What am I doing for personal development? Okay, so I recently restarted You Are a Badass because we are doing it with our challenge group. I also have been, in general, I tend to lean more towards the business building stuff because that's my strength and the stuff that I like. So this year I've been trying really hard to look for more like inner, stuff. So I haven't had a ton of luck finding the thing that I need to work on because you know how it is. It's really hard to identify what that thing is for you. So I've recently been kind of diving back into The Artist's Way. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of that, but it's kind of creative work. But it also deals with your kind of past traumas or past, So I thought, well, that might actually kind of tap into some of that. But a ton of National Wake Up Call, a ton of Beachbody Champions page stuff, anything that I can find that somebody else in those pages said, go look at this, I go look at. That's basically what I've been doing the whole time. And I think that's why some of the things like Instagram and some of that stuff is starting to work for me because I went into all of that and really listened and re-listened and re-listened, trying to like Justin said at the beginning of the call, I've been doing it wrong probably the whole time, but every time I do it, I get a little closer to doing it right. So that's what I think. That's what I think about personal development. Just do it all the time. I do it all the time, like all day in the car. I mean, it's just constantly bombarding myself with it because I'm a friggin' mess. So I need a lot of it.
Yeah, that's awesome. Thanks, lady. All right. Anybody else have anything else they need to say? Okay. All right. I'm going to let you guys go so that we can get on with the rest of our nights. You guys have a fantastic night, everybody. I appreciate you guys' time, and we will see you guys in the team page here pretty soon. So you guys have a good night. We will talk to you guys very soon. Bye, everybody.